Hey Dad, what's a boner?
What's going on? It is the Flockin' Fathers podcast with me, Gregorio Armijo. And I just got finished eating a big bowl of Captain Crunch, one of my favorite cereals. I mean, can't go wrong with Captain Crunch, right? So, got finished up eating that Captain Crunch, and I started thinking, what are like the cereals that kids really like today? Because back in my day, I was a big Frosted Flake fan. I liked Frosted Mini Wheats. I really love like the stuff like Fruit Loops and Fruity Pebbles, but those shits were expensive, and my mom didn't have those all the time. My grandparents, however, would have a lot of the generic types, which never tasted as good, but I mean, it was Fruity Pebbles in my eyes anyway. They'd have a lot of cornflakes, fucking Raisin Bran, and I would eat those too, but I just douse them with sugar, so pretty much it ruined all the nutritional value of it. And still today, I'll have a bowl of Raisin Bran, and I really like it, but I'd like it a little bit more if I added just a bit of sugar to it. I won't eat fucking cornflakes. Disgusting. I'm not a big fan of oatmeal. I try to be healthy. It goes up and down. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I'll be like on this crazy workout kick. I feel like I work out all the time, but it's the eating. And I feel like I gain weight and I just get round no matter what. Just doesn't work. Got a fat face. You could always tell when I'm gaining weight because I get fat in the face. I got a lot of the lower half, the little what is it called, the spare tire, and that's tough to get off unless you really restrict your diet. After listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, I started doing the carnivore diet. Did it for 30 days, and I lost a good amount of weight. I probably lost 15 pounds. Again, I'm not too big of a human. The most I've ever weighed was probably about 175, but I'm only 5'6". So, compact little human, I'm more wide and all outside than I am tall. So that being said, I like losing weight. I like looking leaner. I don't think I've ever had a six pack in my life. That would be a goal that I want to set. And I might write that on my goal wall. Just say, hey, I want to have a six pack one of these days, and, really try for it. The shittiest part is there's just so many good foods. And that goes into this whole father thing, is we have kids, and the kids just want to eat everything in sight and all the sweet stuff. The sweet stuff is what the kids like. I mean, they want to grub on, I don't know, well, what do we have now? We have Oreos, we have Chips Ahoy, Nutter Butters, we got, shit, man, we have all kinds of shit. It's crazy. And we throw a lot of shit away too, which is, I just finished off my Costco bucket of M&Ms. I mean, literally that shit could last you forever if you really wanted to. If you had like 2 M&Ms a day, a few M&Ms maybe, I think it'd probably last you at least a good 6 months. Yeah, I threw mine down probably in, a couple months. Probably another reason why I still got the spare tire. So I think that sweets are good for kids. I think they can be a good incentive. I know when I was young, actually, fuck that. I didn't have any restrictions when it came to food. I had a very large grandmother on my mom's side. She couldn't really catch us. So even if we wanted to do anything, if she did catch us, it was a bitch, but she couldn't really catch us. She was older, could barely walk. And it was more my aunts that I would have to worry about. My aunts and not really my uncles. My aunts though. And on my dad's side, I would go stay with my dad's grandparents, and they just really didn't care that much. I mean, if we ate my grandpa's food that he was saving for himself, they were both diabetic, by the way. On both sides of the family, they're diabetic. So, I mean, as you can see, that's probably why there was sweets everywhere. But if you drank all of my grandpa's Diet Cokes, or if you if you ate all of certain sweets that he had, he would get pissed off. But again, he was a little older, a little slower. Once we did something wrong, we'd fucking book it around the block, and he would not be able to chase us. And then he'd forget by the time we got back, and everything would be all good. So, yeah. So, like I said, sweets are going to be a good incentive, but, do you really need them all around your house? I think there's so many people nowadays that don't let their kids, have any sweets. Everything's, fucking organic, or, you can't have your kids having gluten and shit like that. I've never had an allergy test in my life. Thankfully, I've never had a allergy attack, or something like that, but never had an allergy test. I could be allergic to certain things. I don't know. Maybe that's why I can't lose the belly fat. Could also be that I fucking love fast food, Chick-fil-A, Sonic. I try not to throw them down as much. I will fucking I could throw down sodas every day. I'm limiting it though. Definitely limiting it to, weekends sometimes. I'm more of a soda drinker now than I am a beer drinker, or just alcohol in general. I will, throw down a Sonic fucking 64-ounce cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper, and just fucking feel so good afterwards. As opposed to getting fucked up and, trying to, drink myself stupid, which I did a lot in my younger years. I'm not gonna lie. I know soda's really bad for you, and a lot of you are like, yeah, of course you're not fucking losing weight. Look at all the shit you're talking about. But during the week, I do eat pretty healthy. I usually fast in the morning, have a couple meals, I would say, mostly consisting of protein. I haven't really been able to get a lot of greens in there because I like certain vegetables. I like asparagus. I really like, I like broccoli. It sounds so weird when we're just fucking talking about sweet food, but I like broccoli. I like, what else? I like spinach, kale, things like that. But I just feel like salads are not satisfying. Even if you throw a bunch of shit in the salad to make it satisfying, they're never satisfying. I never want to go to a restaurant and be like, yeah, can I have the chicken chop salad? Or can I have the chicken, Caesar's bad, but can I have that kale salad? Mixing that sweet, no-fat Italian dressing. Yeah, fuck that. I'm paying money. I want to go can I have that fucking dirty burger? Can I have, that chicken parmesan, or that bowl full of fucking noodles and meatballs and everything? But that's why we kind of limit our going out to once, twice a week. Also, fucking money. Money's always an issue. Gotta save for these little assholes that we're raising. But anyway, I digress. So, getting back to the sweet thing. I think a lot of parents don't have a lot of sweets, or don't let their kids indulge as much. Probably good. I don't let my kid have soda. I think it's too addictive. I don't feel like he needs it, and he doesn't like it. He'll drink. He doesn't really like juice. He drinks a lot of water, which is great. His mom doesn't drink any sodas, so it's good they could do that together. He does see me doing it, but he knows that he doesn't like it, so great for me. I don't know. We'll see what my daughter's into. I'm gonna try not to let her drink soda or anything like that either. When you let them go to grandma's, though, we don't have any control. Yeah, or grandpa's. So we'll see how that goes. I believe that they need to have some kind of incentive, some kind of sweets. But I don't feel like that should be, that should always be the incentive. My son is a very picky eater. His mom's a very picky eater. He has a hard time with anything that smells weird. I think that's most people, most kids, but you know how certain things can smell really weird but taste very good. Asparagus, for instance, he was a little hesitant about asparagus. Now he likes it. What else? Broccoli, he calls them little trees, likes the little trees. But he smelt it, fucking hated it. I don't like the way it smells. So there's that. I don't know, there's a lot of things that he won't eat, won't even try. That's the hardest part for me, is I get really frustrated. I'm like, try it. Tell his mom the same thing. You need to try it. You're not gonna know if you don't like it if you don't try it. Typical advice, and they still won't. So I've kind of hung up my hat on some of that stuff. My son, I still have hope for, and I hope he grows into it. I didn't like tomatoes. I didn't like onions. I didn't like fish. I didn't like all the shit. But I grew up a lot on, fast food, McDonald's, beans, chili, what else? Fucking, Spanish rice, enchiladas, like that kind of shit. But I didn't really grow up with a lot of the seafood and a variety of foods. So I didn't want to eat any of them. And then when I broke out of my shell and my taste buds, evolved, now I like pretty much everything. There's a lot of stuff I like. I won't eat menudo. I fucking hate the way it smells. And if you've ever had it before, I think people either love it or hate it. If you smelled it cooking, it's the most disgusting thing you'll ever smell. If you haven't, then I guess, it could be something that's tasty. A lot of people like it for hangovers. But I just can't stand it. So there's certain things like that I'm just not into. Octopus, I don't really like octopus. A little too squishy for me. So I think, I have a little bit of limitations. They have a lot of limitations. So with my son, I'm really trying to be active about it. Be active in getting him into other stuff. But little kids, man. Like I mentioned in the last podcast, we're trying to do the homeschool. Today was the first day of homeschool. Thankfully, his mom was here to help him out because I didn't know shit. I barely knew how to log on to all the stuff that they had. I got myself into it, but I'm still trying to do my own work. I mean, it's like, when the fuck am I going to get all this stuff and get it done, no less, you know what I mean? If, I'm working with him the whole day. So we're going to have to figure this out. It's going to be a learning experience, and hopefully his teachers understand how it goes. So back to the sweets. I don't know. I think that, less sugar, obviously, the better. But I do feel that, they need some treats. Like, they can't be, deprived of all of it. I don't think that kids should be brought up, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that they, should be brought up in such a strict diet, I should say. There's such a strict diet where it's restricting them of a lot of different things. I know there's a lot of vegan parents and vegetarian parents out there probably listening, and they want to restrict their kids to, their type of eating, which is totally fine. But I don't think that they should pull them away from everything that they want. I think just like you allow your kid to have a personality, you should be able to allow them to dictate certain things that they eat. I know that if you are a vegan or a vegetarian or plant-based or even a carnivore, you're going to want your child to partake in the stuff that you eat. But I also don't think that necessarily these kids are going to have such evolved taste buds where they're eating the same stuff that their parents do. Give them a little bit. Again, that's my opinion. So that being said, I feel like I have a hard time with the sweets, but I'm all for them being in the household. So from there, let's segue into something else. So we were talking, I was talking with my son today, and he said something, and he was pretty much talking something about a movie that we watched together. And so when I first, became a dad, and, I think most of you know my story. I came into Joey's life when he was a year old, and I didn't know how to be a parent. I still don't know all the ins and outs of being a parent, but I, treated him, and I still sometimes treat him like a friend. And I also didn't want to give up me watching my bad shows or things like that. So I tried to find shows that he would be into. And I probably watched some stuff that I shouldn't have with him. And I'm hoping that doesn't fuck him up later on in life. But I could definitely see a change in him than other kids. He's really into thinking, he's only 5, I'm going on 6, and he's really into watching shows with girls that are cute, on the Disney Channel. He doesn't like the cartoons. I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast, and I think that's due to stuff that I was watching. And I'd cover his eyes during certain parts, but he still got the gist of things. People probably think that man, you're fucked up, dude. What kind of parent are you? But again, I was new to parenting, and I just didn't give up a lot of things that you normally have to give up or postpone until like later on in the evening, things like that. So, but I was the same way when I was young. I would go to my grandparents' house, and I mention my grandparents a lot of time because my mom was a hardworking single mother, and she didn't have all the time in the world. She was working 2 jobs sometimes, really just trying to provide for us. We lived with her mom for many years until my stepdad came in the picture and, whisked us away and actually, provided for us a little bit better. But I also stayed with my dad's parents, who raised me a lot as well. And they lived really close to my school. I could walk there. All my friends lived in that area. So they molded me a lot. But they also, so my dad would come in and out. My dad was, a heavy drinker. He would come in and out. Sometimes, he would kind of the same thing that I did like early on as a dad. He would just try to be our friend. Didn't really care what he was doing. He was drunk half the time. So he would just let us do whatever we wanted to do, pretty much. So I found, at a young age, I would find like, porno magazines in certain areas. And when you're young, that's fucking cool. But now as a parent, it's like, oh shit. And like, how could that fuck you up? And then I would watch pretty much whatever I wanted to. My grandparents got, they always had cable, which was awesome. And we didn't have cable at my mom's house till like really later on. So they always had cable. And I would go over there and, watch, my shows. I loved like Family Matters and Full House and Step by Step. But they eventually got a black box. I also got to mention Looney Tunes was the shit. And as you got a little bit older, Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, woo, all that stuff. So anyway, they got a black box. And if you don't know what a black box is, you're probably too young. Or, if you don't know what a black box is and you're listening to this, you're probably too young. Remember, I'm on the cusp. I got to see everything. 84, I think 36 I am. And I was born in 84. I got to see the rotary telephone. I got to see the, before cable. I got to see, everything. I got to see the evolution of cell phones, the evolution of the internet. So I'm one of those generations that just crosses a bunch of different, what are they called? I forget what they're called, but peaks in the world. I don't know. That's not what it's called, but I can't think of it right now. Anyway, so the black box got you free pay-per-view on the different channels, and it got you all the rest of the regular cable channels. So we would go, it's kind of like how you stream the shit right today. I guess you get like passwords and stream your UFC fights, things like that. So I would go to my grandparents and we, watch all the bad movies, whatever came out that was on pay-per-view, which was fucking awesome. But, my grandparents weren't there. Usually they would go to the casino or something, around 4 or 5 and, not come back till about 10. My dad didn't give a fuck if he was even there, and anybody else who rolled through was probably chilling in their room or didn't fucking care either. So we'd be watching that stuff, and late at night after 10, the like soft. Oh no, I think it was real porn. I don't know. It was one of those porn. I think it was porn. It didn't show the dick going in the vagina, so it was like soft porn, but they were for sure naked, and you definitely saw vaginas, no wieners. I don't think. I don't know. It was a long time ago. my brain's not working. So anyway, so we would watch that shit, or I would stay up and watch that. And it was, it definitely probably, messed me up as far as relationships and stuff go as I got older. Made me, definitely more sexual, probably more, just caring more about that. Probably fucked up a lot of my relationships for sure, because I think I only focused on that, like more of the physical than all the breakdown of the rest of the relationship. So yeah, probably fucked me up. But anyway, so I kind of want to know. Again, you got DM or like direct message me, send me something on Instagram or Facebook. I want to know what you guys think or how you guys handle those situations, like handle not wanting to, just watch kid shows and stuff all the time, and how you would, how you handle that as far as, because you want to chill with your kid, but you don't want to watch fucking Disney all the time or whatever fucking shows they watch, because they're terrible, and especially when we grew up on some of the good shit, like, they're terrible. These shows are awful, and I don't know, I just can't stand them. When we watched shows, it was about the real shit, It was I don't know, it was either real or super fake. Now they're kind of trying to combine the two. I guess there's some good cartoons. I've watched a show called The Regular Show. It's a cartoon, and it's actually pretty funny. A little bit more adult humor. It's probably like Rick and Morty. I've never really seen Rick and Morty, but I would assume. I feel like all of these shows are like Beavis and Butthead. So Beavis and Butthead was not intended for young people, but it was also a cartoon. So I think they're all kind of like that. Me, I don't know if I necessarily regret, sitting down and letting Joey watch some of these more adult films, but I do think that I could have probably handled it better. There were some shows that I would have been cool. He would have been cool watching. We watched, The Dark Knight together, and the third Batman with Bane, and he enjoyed that. The Avengers movie. So those superhero movies, I think, are totally fine. But at the same time, I don't know, some of the other stuff I would watch, and he'd fall asleep on my lap or something, and I'd be watching it. He didn't get it, but subconsciously it probably messed with him. We don't really do that much anymore. He's got his TV in his room. He can watch his Disney shows and stuff that he likes, but you can tell it definitely probably plays into how he acts today. Speaking of which, man, he's so hard to get fucking calm down and just chill. It drives me crazy sometimes. I think my patience is actually pretty good, and I promised myself today, I was like, I'm going to be as patient as I can, because it's his first day of school. I don't want him to flip out or get, have any situations. And I think I've been snappy a lot lately. I've just been too authoritative instead of being understanding and wanting, smiling when I'm talking to him. It's always like, do this, pick up those toys, I don't know, fucking brush your teeth, eat that food, clean up whatever the fuck you just spilled, which he spills all the time. And it's every time I tell him not to spill, he fucking spills. And it drives me nuts. And he knows every time he does it, he gives me these huge, deer in headlights look. And he goes, I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh my, and I can't even get mad anymore. I just expect it from him. But anyway, so I was, we're trying to have a good day. I was being the best, dad that I felt like I could be, very supportive. Still, he's just wiggling around and just won't sit still. Man, again, like I mentioned last podcast, I have some fucking mad props for teachers that can do this. And I know that's what they've been, probably bred for in their schooling and for the many years of teaching. But shit, man, and I wonder if it's even worse with older kids. And I'm sure it probably is, because they have a lot more attitude, and I don't know. That attitude would probably get to me. You just want to smack a fool, and there's probably kids. I always think of Dangerous Minds. If you're young listening to this, you probably don't know what Dangerous Minds is, but you should check it out. Michelle Pfeiffer was a badass. It was a good high school high school thug flick, I guess you would say. If you've ever heard Gangster's Paradise by Coolio, that was part of that soundtrack. And we thought Coolio was fucking gangster. Coolio's not very gangster. His hair was goofy as fuck, but but it was kind of a movie like that. And I almost feel like teens, they're probably not as bad as they portrayed in that movie, because I feel like they're also mentally a little bit younger nowadays, but they're probably just as fucking bad. I mean, who knows? With all this shit coming out nowadays with, these young football players banging their teachers, I don't know if teachers are just getting younger and sloppier, or, maybe the high school boys are getting, more aggressive sexually or, really putting the moves on. I don't know. You see it all the time now. So yeah, I was having a hard time. I'm just hoping that, this will continually and gradually get better and better. And again, I told you, all you last podcast, DM me if you got any ideas on how to deal with this. If you're a teacher or a former teacher and you could kind of, pave the way. I'm not going to listen to everything. I'm going to probably do things my own way, but suggestions go a long way. So you could find me at Flocking Fathers on Instagram. You just look up Flocking Fathers on Facebook and at Flocking Fathers on Twitter. I'm more active on Instagram and Facebook. I just feel like Twitter is harder to get followers and things like that, and I'm not very versed in it. So yeah, hit me up on any of those platforms though. You could also email me, flockingfathers@gmail.com. Again, that's flockingfathers@gmail.com. And yeah, we could get a dialogue going. I would love for you guys to share the podcast, possibly. I really want to try to grow this and grow this community. And I just like I like talking with bullshit with people. So if you guys, I think eventually we'll start having guests. I just got to get, the podcast set up like where I want it and figure out, I'm still very amateur at this. I'm still got to figure out how to, set it all up completely and make it a little bit more clean. It's definitely a little bit more raw right now, but I think people appreciate the raw. I know I do. The raw and the real. I don't want to see any fake shit. There's a lot of, there's just a lot of fake shit out there, and I think you could call it out. This is straight real, white t-shirt, dirty house in the background, fucking balding head. But at least I still have a little bit up there. I definitely thought I was going to be bald by this time. So, thank you, Jesus. I'm not. But again, hit me up. Let's chat a little bit more. And maybe before the next podcast, I'll be able to, have more ideas, have more dialogue, see what some of you have sent in, and, we could hit it from there. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you listening, whoever is listening out there. I would appreciate a share and a subscribe on either YouTube or SoundCloud, and also on Facebook. Share it up. Let's, build this community. All right, you guys take care. Peace out, flockers.